I know you're gonna dig this.
Approximately once a year I have a hypertension review, which is something which stems from when I had an aortic valve replacement back in 1994. That in itself stems from going back to being born with a failing aortic valve. I always knew it would require replacement at some time, but I'm going to save all that for another time. Won't bore you with that now. Anyway, the hypertension review is a very straightforward thing, except for why it's called that. I take a number of different tablets, and only one of them actually causes me a bit of hypertension from time to time. I think it's called Adalat LA, or it might have changed name by now, but so occasionally does actually give it to me sometimes, but that's not actually something that's discussed at this appointment. Confusing. Anyway, the basics are that I have to take a urine sample with me, so yes, I literally will be taking the piss every time I go, but dish. No, I'm not going to cup it in my hands. That would be just daft. I get a tube to put it in beforehand. Needs filling with the first wee of the day. And that's something that I've got to remember about the night before, otherwise if I don't, then I'll end up getting up in the morning, using the loo, and then thinking, oh, I've just forgotten to do all that. So I've got to make sure after my last use of the toilet the night before, I'll close the lid, no point closing it any other time, and I'll put the tube on the top so I don't forget. You can get sample tubes at the doctor's surgery beforehand. I've got one here. It's a spare one, obviously. And while they only gave me the tube, just a tube 1 year, it was a bit of a pain to try and get it in. This time I literally got a pot to piss in. So yeah, I have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out. Well, I'm not going to throw it out the window, obviously I'm going to fill the tube with it. I'm not going back to Victorian times. Anyway, this does seem to make it a little bit more complicated, filling that and then tipping it into there, because it's prone to a bit of spillage, but with a bit of dexterity I managed to tip it all the way in and then seal it up without spilling it all over the bloody place. I also get a lovely biohazard bag biohazard to seal it up in when I take it there. Great, as if anyone's going to see a yellow phial of liquid and drink it. And if they do, then I've got to go and do another one. When I go into the appointment, they take my blood pressure, give me a flu jab if it's coming up to around Christmas time, and also take some blood. This caused me to faint one time a few years ago, something which obviously I only realised once I'd actually come round. And then as I woke up, I saw that they put my feet up on a chair in front of me. Well, obviously they couldn't put feet on my chair behind me, otherwise I've seriously got something wrong with me. It was also at that point that I realised I was in so much of a rush to leave the house that I put odd trainers on. One of the nurses back then said she thought I was making some kind of fashion statement, but no, I just fucked up. And that brings me to the nurses. Like I said, this should be a once a year thing, but I always wait for them to get round to writing to me. And then I end up trying to time it to coincide with my warfarin checkups, because they're in the same place. And then I'll forget to book it and I'll have to wait for the next one. So anyway, this time round I've ended up having the appointment today, November 2014 obviously, unless you're watching this sometime in the future and it gets repeated on Dave. No, it won't. Anyway, so yes, November 2014 now, and the last one I had was in July 2013. I saw a different nurse this time, but the nurse I saw last time is someone I've seen quite a few times for this. It sounds a bit of a cliche to say that a nurse is fit, and that everyone wants to date a nurse, but this nurse was a stunning blonde. And it's like you feel there's a possible mutual attraction there as you're talking. But as Morrissey sang, shyness is nice, but shyness can stop you from doing all the things in life you'd like to. I'm not singing it, I can't sing. However, the other aspect to this is that it's my local GP surgery, so if I'd asked her out and she'd have said no, then it would have been awkward, big time, for any time I'd gone in next and seen her, potentially. That said, people can move on from one place to another these days. Obviously, I didn't do it because she'd been there quite a while, and it seems like she may well have left, but I've changed offices several times over the years. But you just don't know, And the whole thing at the time was made even more difficult by the fact that as we came to the end of the 10-minute appointment last time, she said quite genuinely, "It was really good to see you today." And this was after a whole 14-15 months of having seen her previously. And so, because I'm human and because I'm a dick, I didn't ask her out and I left the room, which itself feels like an odd moment because you come out and you're in like a sort of empty, silent corridor. It's like you step from one dimension into another. It's like if I was to open that door again, it'd be like there'd be nothing and no one in, no one in there. So that's why you don't open it up again. Does that make sense? Probably not. Anyway, that day, I had my warfarin checkup and then left the surgery and went off to work. Finding myself in the same position I've been in countless times, where you just sort of, you bottled it, and then you're wondering for the rest of your life, what would have happened if I'd have asked her out? I'll never know. And it's one of those situations, I really hate most in life. But, well, were you expecting a happy ending? Cue Genesis.